welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name is Mark, and before I go out to the animals, I just wanted to show you my other little animals here. Atlas, which is the name of one of the little roosters that we got in, and he is a Bernese mountain dog. And Toby is a West Highland White Terrier that looks like he wants to go inside. It's beautiful outside, Toby. And his little companion Maggie, which is also a West Highland White Terrier, is inside, probably lounging on the couch. So that's those guys there. Let's head out and check out the animals. What a beautiful day. It's above zero, above freezing, and it's sunny and the animals out. We let them out this morning. Well, actually we let them out a couple days ago, but they're out enjoying the sun today. So today we got in some Serama roosters. Serama roosters are the smallest breed of chickens, so they are very cute with their cute little cockadoodle-doos. And we've had some interest in our barn on how we constructed the barn. So I thought I would go over the barn and go over the little roosters. So here you can see part of the barn that extends out from here. So let's go on in, check out these little roosters, and we'll go over the barn. So here is one of the little Serama roosters. This one's name is Zeus, and they have the cutest little crow. Then we have, if I can get these names correctly, we have Atlas. Oh boy, and I can't remember the other one's name. But we have Zeus. Atlas, I think, is the light brown one. And then we have, I'm not sure. They just came in this morning. So the story with these guys are the owner of them had 4 roosters and 2 hens. So of course you don't want too many roosters in the hen house because they will compete for females. So she wanted just to have her little trio, the 1 rooster and the 2 hens. Now, from what I understand, the 1 hen is sitting she just hatched out half a dozen chicks, which are about the size of a toonie. So they're, well, I guess you Americans or people in other areas, let's call it a silver dollar. They're about the size of a silver dollar. And the other hen is sitting on apparently 11 eggs. So there they go. They're the mini band of bros, I guess we want to call these guys. Okay, it's Atlas, Zeus, and Apollo. So I missed Apollo. Apollo's the dark one, Atlas is the light brown one, and Zeus is the little black one. I had to actually ask Tara. You can hear one of them crowing in the back there, 2 of them. Okay, so getting to the barn and how we came up with building the barn. We used to live in a mobile home years ago, and it was sitting in this area. Now, the building that is just out here was attached to the trailer. So this was the door here that went out to the trailer. And then this was actually our daughter's room, which is now a workshop. And then this was the back den, which is now storage for feed. It's the nursery in here. And we have a wood-burning fireplace there, which we didn't use this year. We have used in the past. We've got a bunch of donations here that we've gotten in that go off to shelters and such that we store in here. And this is an area that we're going to have to clean up. It tends to get to be a dumping ground. So out this way was out to the animals originally. There's Lucy. So you would walk down out to the animals. Now, when the trailer was sold and we moved that out, we moved into the house after building that, we poured this concrete slab. So, you know, we decided, you know, how do you pour concrete? We asked some people about that. I did a nice time lapse. It took 3 loads of the concrete mixer, and we leveled it out. We rented the equipment to level it, you know, some rakes and then a leveler leveler. I don't, what's a floater? That's it. A floater, and that basically floats the concrete. Now, the design for the inside, we wanted to do these pens, and it's probably best if you kind of look over in this area here, where the ducks are and the turkeys. Now this area over on this side, this is all insulated. So we built the framing, 2x6 framing construction, and we insulated it, we vapor barriered it, and we put on this OSB. Now, we didn't know what was coming in here, if we were going to have some small horses, ponies, whatnot in here. So on the side, you can see the boards that we put across. It's these same boards here that we used as dividers. And we wanted to ensure that nobody was going to kick through that outer wall. So it's just a protection on the pen. So we went across the back. The supports, I went and contacted our municipality to find out codes for building. We wanted to make sure we had a good building code because lots of snow load. So we get quite a bit of snow here. This year, not so much. So I we did a lamination on 2x8s, a 3-ply lamination here, and we put in these support posts here that are laminated 2x6s. They're mounted down to the concrete. These 2x4s here that go around, there's nails that are punched down into the concrete here. So these poles are not moving. So we have the one pole there, we have another pole on the other side there, and then we have another one over here. And the exact same thing happens over on this side here. We have one, we have two, and we have three. Now we had some challenges because the overhang of that original building out there. Hey guys, what's up? The overhang of the original building out here comes out and runs across. So we couldn't come down here or else it would have been too high. So we actually had to run this section that comes down. So you can see from this angle, you've got, this is the other part here, and then this part actually slopes down and comes underneath of it. So we had to do kind of a little bit of figuring there as to how to do that, right boys? And Tinker's here. Turbo has his little tag, his little clip tag. And sorry, no, that's Turbo. That's Lambert. That's Tinker, and this is Turbo. And the kids are out. The kids are out enjoying the weather. And it's amazing on how they know who their moms are. So we had Daisy sitting with her mom Snow, which is, right here. And they just know whose mom is who, and they actually wanted to milk them when they came out a few days ago. Hey Barry, what's up? You hanging out in there? All right, getting back into the barn. This, by the way, used to be our woodshed. So this was just a simple, it's a 2x4 construction, and we used to store our wood in here. We opened up this compartment here to allow them to go into the next section. And again, check your building codes. Here, anything under 100 square feet, you don't need any kind of permit. So we had built this shelter on here, which is under 100 square feet, and then we built another one onto that, and then another one onto that. So we just kind of opened it up and allowed the animals to go through, and that's their winter shelter. Lucy, what are you doing? You have a whole big pile there, eh? Hey? You want to go outside? she was getting a little beat up when she went outside. So they were kind of picking on her, so we've still got her in here. Okay, so moving along, this here slopes down this way. So it's actually 6 feet to the top there, coming down in this direction here. And then, of course, this area here slopes down in this direction. So it's actually pretty low. Hey, Fernando. It's actually pretty low in this section here. We're looking at about 5.5 feet to the top. So that's how we did that. Now the caging here, so we've got our two sections of cages. We've got, this is primarily the chickens, and this here is the pigeons and peafowl. So we opened up a door there, and we've got just a piece of plywood and 2 pieces of boards that this slides down to close it off. And you can do the same on the outside, mount a piece, and then put insulation and vapor barrier in there during the winter months so that it doesn't frost up, which we didn't do this year. So we did get some frosting that happened on there. Now this wiring here is actually stucco wire, and it works very well. It's durable. And we just mounted it by, here it's in between the boards, but when you first initially install it, you just use a staple gun and staple it in to that, and it secures it. And then this is just a simple latch here that opens up, and we just made these doors here. So you can see here is the staple from the staple gun as we punched it in. And Lucy, okay, Lucy's going to show us the automatic feeder. Come here, Lucy. Get out. Come here. Out you go. Out you go. Out you go. No, you don't. Oh, whenever she has a chance, she will come in here because she knows where the oats are. Okay, so this is our automatic feeder. It's on an interior wall. You want to put it on an interior wall. Because, of course, the exterior walls have insulation in them, so you don't want to compromise that. You don't want frost to build up inside your feeder. So on the other side, or inside this wall cavity, it goes up, and it's full of feed. And it's just a piece of duct, a couple pieces of ducting that comes down, furnace ducting, and opens it up so that they can eat. And we fill it from the other side. Oh, here's a little baby pigeon. Starting to get bigger. And we got 2 more down here. And 2 more here. These ones are a little bit older. So these are just trays that you pick up for tools, for nuts and bolts. Pick them up at a hardware store, and they work really well for nesting. We have these cavities in here that we also just kind of naturally put that in, and it works well as a little section as well. These are that's just a Tupperware container that's just stuffed in there. It makes it a little bit easier to clean out than this here. And then there's a couple on the bottom that they can use for nesting as well. Go on outside, guys. And then I don't know where we got this little house from. It's just kind of like a little dog house. I'll put that in there. It's always good to have perches. So grab some sticks and branches from outside, hang them up, tie them off to points over there, and they love to roost. And get up, and this is just some kind of fancy wicker type deal that we put up there, so they anywhere that they can perch. So 2x4 construction, and then wiring separating the pens. When you're joining the two, because it's not high enough, all you have to do is bring it down and wrap the long piece around this one, just to kind of stitch them together. So that's how. If that focuses, that's how that doesn't look like it's going to focus. That's how that works. Now gates. Once you've got your structure built, these here all tied off to boards going up. That's kind of, just a board that's in there, and then that's screwed into that, just giving some extra support here so that it's got structure. And then you can just pick up these gates. These gates work really well. It's just a hinged gate. Make sure you figure out what size of gate you're going to use before you do. You do have some kind of overlap. This pin here that goes up could actually be located, you know, over here if the gate extends out further. So as long as it's large enough. And here's our little bunnies. How are you guys doing? Looks like they're doing fantastic. That appears to be Mom there. Nah. Or is that Mom? Oh boy. I don't know. They look pretty close to the same size. I think actually Mom is that one over there. Mom never looks at the camera or at people. It seems like whenever I film or photograph her, she's not looking in this direction. But they are loving their little space. We feed them, of course, hay. So they've got free range of hay. They've got water, and they've got these are just it's essentially rabbit food. It's alfalfa pellets. You can see there. So we just feed them that, and we pick that up at a feed store. Okay, now this area up here, we've been playing around with some different ideas. We realize that we don't want to store items in here because they get way too dusty. We've got some heat lamps over there on the shelf, and when you go to pull this stuff out, they just get way too dusty. So we're going to remove all that stuff and probably rethink this cage here, figure out how we're going to do that. And yeah, it's all about planning a little bit and doing a lot, and you come across different ideas and different ways to do things. A little bit of trial and error. Now there was a fan here. I took that down this morning because it was caked up with all kinds of dust. Speaking of dust, and we have that, and it's pointed down at the door during the winter. If you recall some other videos, you will have noticed ice. Actually, there's still a little bit of ice here that's sitting. So having that fan blow on the door allows the air movement across here, and you don't get frosting up. We weren't able to, one year we weren't able to open that, and there's actually some damage down here at the door, a little bit of bending, where we've actually kicked the door to loosen it up to pull it off. We've got barrels here that hold the feed, and we've just got these boards sitting on top of it as a shelf. And in here you can see our other feed all in there, as well as our bagged feed. We've got wheat and we've got barley, all the good stuff there that the animals like. Now, water. We had water that came into our last trailer, and of course it was just capped off. So we tied into it, and I ran a heat trace into the line here, and it actually goes into the pipe and down and underneath so it doesn't freeze. So that's how we manage that. This timer here, because this isn't a regulated line, which I thought it was initially, I just hooked up a timer to it so it comes on for 15 minutes and shuts off for half an hour, on for 15, off for half an hour. And that's our water system. We used to haul pails out from the house to the barn, and it was such a pain. Now, air ventilation is very important. I put this elbow on here because the cold air that was sucked into the building actually came in and dropped down and froze this section here where the valve is. It froze the water all in this area because there's no heat trace on there. So I simply put on just an elbow that comes out and directs the air in this direction here, going down. Now, lighting, we wanted as low as a footprint electrically as possible, so these are all LED lights, and we don't heat this building. The animals all heat this building, don't they, Fernando? You got a duck here. Who's this? Who's your buddy? Did she jump out? Should we let her in? Here, let's let her in. There you go. Oh, there you go. There we go. All right, she's back with her family. Things like this, we took just some rough cut wood and we put it up against here. because some animals like to actually chew the wood. So this is just a good bumper. These are salt licks for the small salts. The ducks don't need it, of course, but when goats go in here, we do ensure that they do have that salt lick. So the fan system, the exhaust system, how's the little boys doing? We've got a perch here for the roosters if they want to jump up, if they're big enough. I don't know if they'll be able to jump up that high. We'll see. So a fan system. Initially, I just had a small booster fan, which you can see the hole here, and it just wasn't enough to exhaust that. So what I did is the year later, I went and I picked up an industrial fan from a farm supply store, hooked that up. It's a 2-speed system. So I have a switch here that shuts it off, goes low, and then goes high. Now I also took this, which is just a mercury switch thermostat, and I set it to air conditioning, and then I adjusted it sideways because, of course, it only goes down to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius, and of course I wanted it lower than that. So by turning it sideways, I've calibrated it for the fan to come on when it is above, I think, 2 degrees Celsius, so just above freezing, and what it does is it vents out all that excess humidity. I ended up wiring this through, I've got 120 volts here, because this is not a 120 volt thermostat. I've got a relay that's back behind here, and then I've got a 12 volt. Actually, that's where that 12 volt was. I was looking for, I found another one, but I was looking, that looks like the 12 volt that I needed for my my storage drive. Betcha that's where it is. So I wired this through, so it's a 12 volt that hooks up into this and triggers the relay, which then triggers that outlet, which then turns on the fan. So that is how that works. Okay, feeders and feeding. So what we have done here, this block that's sitting here, we just put in, because the girls are gonna be in here when they go to have their kids. We have a feeder here. These feeders are great because you stuff it in and then they just pull through the material and they eat off there rather than getting it all on the floor. Here's the salt licks I talked about, and this is actually a mineral block for minerals for the new mamas, that they're going to be able to get their nourishment and extra prenatal medicine or prenatal minerals out of that. We have baking soda in here just in case they get a little upset tummy. They know that it's there, and surprisingly they know what to do with it. So over here we have a water container. So this is just a bin that's hung there. Works well for that. These guys, you know, because they're small, we just put a little water tray here for the time being. So that's how that works. Now, as you can see here, this gate is actually larger than what we needed. So we had just moved over this little guy here, and it works fine. So, okay, now in this area here, again, we've just got a board. It's just a simple solution here. It's always better to build a gate than to buy one. Hi, guys. Yeah, just around the watering hole. Now, what do we got here? We have an egg. And we have, what are you sitting on? Oh, okay, come on out. No, you don't even have an egg. Maybe you're going to lay an egg. These are just cages that we got donated to us. Oh, look at this. I forgot there's a couple pigeons in here. Those pigeons, yeah, there they are over there. They're just all over. These here, so perches, again, this is actually like an old hammock. A fold-out hammock that we had, and of course it was garbage, so we mounted a couple crossbars on here, and it works good for them to jump up and roost. So another feeder out here, salt lick. You can see how they've really taken out little chunks of that by just licking it. All this board here is going to come off. This is kind of our winter shelter, and it's going to be opened up. Now, new plans for this year. Look at them, just all hanging out around the feed tray. Where'd the sun go, guys? It was so sunny earlier. And this is, you know, this is what happens in the spring. It until this stuff here defrosts and melts all away, you get these muddy little holes, and these ducks, oh, it's just, that's gross, you guys. But they love it. Okay, so coming out here, our plans for this year is, so this building where it comes out here, we want to expand this. Now we have Manya over here, and we may be getting, well, she may be pregnant, so that will be the next live stream, probably the end of April into May. So we'll probably get her in somewhere and then have that, do that live stream as well. Now, this building here, what the plans are is to extend this out this way to about probably the corner there, and bring it out here. So then this will have the same slope on it, and what we're looking at doing is getting, it's like an acrylic, it's a see-through kind of sunroom material that sits on top of that, so it'll let the sun in. And then this will come out and over, and we're gonna have some pens inside here, and these boards, we're gonna make panels, and they'll sit on the outside of that building, and they'll actually flip up. What is going on? Oh boy, some fighting going on. Oh, gotta go break it up. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, that's enough. That's enough. It looks like we have the Chinese boy fighting the Pilgrim boy. So, I don't know what they're doing their dominant thing. Okay, maybe the one was probably after one of the other girls, and it's like, no, that's my girl. Well, that's pecking order for you. That's how it works. All right, so that's the plans for this year. So we're gonna have kind of an indoor-outdoor. So in the wintertime, we'll close down all those panels. It'll all be closed off, be a nice dry spot for the wintertime, just expanding on our pen. So that's something we will be doing this summer. Oh, and Billy wants a little bit of attention. Billy? Hey, bud, what is it? Hey? Your dad's gonna be home soon. Yes, your dad's gonna be home soon, probably in a couple weeks. And Manya. So Manya's enjoying the nicer weather out. And of course, Snow just here, you want that? It's all yours. Go for it. There you go. Whatever you can get out of that. They like those trays because of course they know that's where the food comes from. Okay, so again, that's it. So hope you enjoyed this episode. And stay tuned for live streaming coming up. I'll probably be doing some testing on that tomorrow, Sunday, just to find out what kind of quality we're getting on the live stream and go from there. So that's it. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.